Hey YouTube, you already know who it is. I'm back again with another live video. And in today's live video, I just wanted to get back to Rest in Power, The Enduring Life of Trayvon Martin by his parents, Sabrina Fulton and Tracy Martin. Um, as y'all know, I've been reading this book. To catch up on where I leave off, please feel free to watch the previous videos. Majority of the videos are with pictures of Trayvon as a thumbnail or me holding up the book covers so y'all can see. Um, let's get those views up. I see that a lot of people ain't really paying attention. You might get 1 view, 2 views. Let's get those views up. Share my videos with your friends and family. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, be notified. And I do know that there were people in my comment section asking about the Cash App thing. I'm only looking for serious people. If you want to support the channel, whether you want to see a wig review that I haven't done in a while, a mannequin head review, a mukbang, or you just like my content and just want to support, um, the Cash App is in the description of this live stream. But let me get back into this book because I keep taking breaks here and there depending on how long the chapters are. Hold on, y'all. So far, we left off on both parents and family members getting a chance to hear the 911 tapes that they're trying to get out to the public. And their reactions are upsetting. They're not happy with what they hear, with what they heard, and they also feel like to cover up some asses. Bits and pieces of the 911 tapes were taken out. It's a lot of fuckery going on with this story. Them still trying to figure out what happened to their son, getting word from different people, having to go through lawyers and the media and attorneys and so much other people, and still struggling with getting a full story of what could have led to Trayvon's death and why the person that killed Trayvon, George Zimmerman, have not been arrested. And they see it's a lot of dirty work involved being done when it comes to this case. A lot of dirty work, a lot of covering up. It's just a whole lot of drama. So let me get into this book. I'm trying to figure out where I left off at. So I read something about her Bible. Okay. Finally, the words that came to summarize our fight for justice came from the mouths of students. Our attorney, Jasmine Rand, was. Hold on. Let me turn this light on so I can see. I mean, I got my glasses on, but y'all know, after trying to read these small words, my eyes start to get blurry even with the glasses on. But anywho, um, I read most of this. I'm trying to figure out where did I leave off at. Ben Crump had been trying to get a meeting with Norman Wolfinger, a longtime state attorney for the 18 Judicial Circuit Court of Florida, but Wolfinger wouldn't, or perhaps couldn't, meet directly with Crump or our family. He agreed to meet with Jasmine Rand as both a citizen and a professor, along with some of her students, and we agreed. And he agreed to have them meet with his assistant state attorney Pat Whitaker at the Seminole County Courthouse in Sanford. Jasmine and her students went and just meet with the assistant state attorney. They will hold a press conference outside after their meeting. To prepare for that, Jasmine taught her students how to write a press release, how to develop media sound bites, and how to lead a mini protest and mini movement. Jasmine got chills and later shared the video with us. When we saw it, we got chills too. So many young people, fresh, smart, and different nationalities and backgrounds, optimistic and with young eyes ahead of them, saying the name of our son and directing that youthful, idealistic energy to his cause. For the first time, we felt that kind of direct connection with people, especially young people who didn't just share our pain but were moved to action, to changing things. That was the beginning of a new feeling for me. The sense that Trayvon's spirit was still with us, not just us. His spirit was motivating a movement. The day after the video was uploaded, Jasmine took her students to the store where they bought poster board and markers. That night, in the Parks and Crump Law Office over pizza and cokes, they made posters. One I remember said guns versus Skittles. Another said justice for Trayvon Martin. They finished writing a press release to alert the media of their activities, and they prepared to the sound bites. They pulled their money, rent a car, reserve. They pulled their money, rent a car, reserved two hotel rooms, one for male students and one for female students, and drove to Sanford for their meeting with Assistant State Attorney Pat Whitaker and to hold their press conference and tell the local media that the state attorney planned to do what the state attorney planned to do in the cause of Trayvon's killer. Soon into the hour-long meeting, it became apparent to Jasmine Rand and her students that the state attorney still didn't seem to have any intention to press charges. The assistant state attorney told them that their investigation by the Sanford Police Department was not as thorough as he would have liked, and that the state attorney's office would launch the investigation that would be greatly supplemented. But it was what he didn't say that concerned Attorney Rand and her students. The state attorney's investigation seemed to be centering on whether or not the killer's self-defense claim could be proven, instead of whether or not charges of manslaughter or even murder would be brought. Attorney Rand and her students felt that the state attorneys, who were supposed to represent the people, still seemed to be on the side of Trayvon's killer. Later, she told us in the legal team that you can't always place the finger on racism, but she and her students felt that the way the state attorney received them and communicated with them led them to think that Trayvon's race was the unspoken X factor in the decision that was already apparent. He had no intention of arresting George Zimmerman. Attorney Rand and her students were frustrated when they left the meeting, but she pulled them to a private room before they emerged from the courthouse to meet the media. She reminded them that despite what the state attorney just said or how he treated them, They had the ability to walk out of the courthouse and become a voice for Trayvon and advocates for change, channeling frustration into passion for justice. Her students were ready to be our voice in the media. When they emerged from the courthouse, hold on, I'll be right back. I'm about to go get something to drink. My bad, y'all. It may have took a little longer than expected, but I just wanted to get something to eat while I was down here. I said, why not? Already down here, so might as well. But it's still not fuck shit going on. They fighting and fighting and fighting to get one thing, but then it's hard because it's like people care, and then people don't care. Trayvon was only 17 years old. He from Miami. He ain't from no damn Sanford. And he going to go visit his damn daddy. Okay. Maybe he should have gotten a ride or something just to be on the safe side. Because it did say that he went to the store earlier that day. He was in the car. But no matter what the fuck he did, they trying to say he was on drugs. He got suspended from school. Y'all bring up his whole fucking background. And then y'all lied and said that George Zimmerman never got in no trouble. He was a good guy. But the whole fucking time, search up his fucking name and he ain't got in trouble. And still, y'all got all this fucking proof about this man coming out. And all the fucked up shit he did even after Trayvon got killed. And still, y'all pretty much made him fucking famous. Still to this day, it's 2025. And this family still ain't getting no fucking justice. And that's Florida. That's Florida. Just like still to this day, Kendrick Johnson family ain't get justice. That's Georgia. And just like these stories are being brought to Emmett Till, because he ain't get justice. I mean, yeah, the people that killed them, they stopped getting served. They became, I guess, they became poor. People stopped going to their store after they found out what happened. I guess, they went to jail. Whatever happened, other shit happened, and they eventually died. But the woman who started every fucking thing, she she got to live a natural life with no consequences up until her damn death. Then whatever happens. Then speaking on Emmett Till, whatever happened to that man that wrote that book, claiming that Carolyn Bryan said something about she lied about everything, and no matter what did happen, it did. I mean, it shouldn't have led to him being killed or whatever the fucking book said. I got some Emmett Till books. I think I got about like how many Emmett Till books I got. I think I got like 3. I got Simeon Wright. I got his book, and then I think I got 2 more. All right, let me get back to this. Um, Attorney ran her students was frustrated. She reminded them about her channel frustration to passion for justice. Her students were ready to be her students were ready to be our voice in the media. When they emerged from the courthouse, they were around 75 other. There were around 75 other protesters garnered along with the media singing "We Shall Overcome" and chanting for an immediate arrest. Jasmine spoke first, then passed the microphone off to her students. "Are we satisfied? No," said one of the students. "Are we satisfied? No," said one student of the meeting with the assistant state attorney. "We appreciate the gesture. It seems all the people are on Trayvon side," said another. "The government is on the killer side. This is not acceptable," said another student. "There was a time when this was acceptable. That time is not now." One student Kendra Neal said he had dreams like we did, but because of this travesty, we'll never know what great successes he would have shared with the world. After each student expressed their thoughts, they repeated slogans from their posters. What happened to him could happen to anyone. No justice for Trayvon, no peace for Sanford. My skin is not my sin. Finally, one of the students said, I am Trayvon Martin. I am Trayvon Martin, a phrase that became a rally cry for people united to fight for justice for our son. Even in all this darkness, with the screams from the death tapes still echoing in my mind, a light appeared, the possibility that there was some salvation in all of this pain. In the voices of these young people, we begin to hear a redemption song for Trayvon that was spread to languages and countries around the world. I am Trayvon Martin. My son's spirit lives. Excuse me. If the local authorities weren't interested in pursuing charges against the killer of our son, we thought maybe a higher authority would help. And our attorneys began to petition the FBI to step in. By March 21st, the FBI and the U.S. Justice Department announced they were investigating Trayvon's death and sending officials to Stanford to address tension in the community. The meeting was scheduled between the FBI members of the U.S. Department of Justice and us. Attorney Darrell Parks drove us to the FBI field office near Orlando in his rental car. It was the first time we met Parks, Crump's partner, who heads the Parks and Crump office. Parks had done some civil rights work in the past, but he said a lawyer would die trying to do this work exclusively. So when we first signed on with his firm, he was not helping other clients in less controversial circumstances. Eventually, however, he decided he needed to get involved and lend a hand. The case was turning into something larger than anyone or two people could handle. We needed a team of attorneys, and we were lucky to have them led by Crump and his partner, Darrell Parks. Their young associate Jasmine Rand was right when she told us in the beginning that Parks and Crump would fight harder than anybody to have the man who killed our son arrested. The moment we met Darrell Parks, we immediately knew why he and Benjamin Crump had been such a successful team. We also knew we had the best lawyers to find justice for our son. They met as undergraduates at Florida A&M in Tallahassee, where Parks was the president of the student body and Crump was president of the Black Student Union. They ended up at the Florida State University College of Law together, and there they became fast friends. And as legend has it, printed their Parks and Crump business cards before they even graduated. When they first began practicing law, they couldn't afford money for hotels. So if they had court appearances out of town, they slept on the sofas of friends and relatives. Neither came from a wealthy family. Both were first generation college students. Both had the drive and ingenuity that only struggle can bestow. As Parks and Crump fought tirelessly for their clients in courtrooms across the state, word of the dynamic duo and their success spread. along with their success in the courtroom became financial success. But Parks and Crump didn't keep the money for themselves. They immediately began giving back to the community, funding scholarships and hosting community events in the beautiful building they purchased in downtown Tallahassee. By the time we met them, Parks and Crump was more than law firm. It was a family, and we were lucky to become part of it. Our attorneys, Parks Crump, Natalie Jackson, and Jasmine Rand, all believed they could make the world a more or just place for people like my son. And while they all shared the same vision, Attorney Parks' role was more practical. As a farm managing partner, he oversaw the legal team before major events in our case and before each court session. We all prayed together. In between, we shared meals together, stayed in the same hotel together. As our bond and love for one another grew, so to our strength to fight together for Trayvon. From the moment we met him, Daryl Parks was with us, literally by our side and at our backs, every step of the way, driving us, counseling us, crying with us, praying with us, staying in hotel rooms down the hallway from us, and guiding us through the legal process that we didn't know anything about. The feds play their cards close to their vest. Parks told us on the drive up. They know everything that's going on, but they don't tell you everything. They invite you to a meeting and you don't necessarily know who is going to be there. We met the rest of our legal team outside the building, Ben Crump and Natalie Jackson. I keep looking at that stuff. I forgot where I left off at. All right. We met the rest of our legal team outside the building, Ben Crump and Natalie Jackson. We walked outside when we found on the right conference room. I counted at least 18 feds, including officials from the U.S., Department of Justice, local FBI agents, and a number of armed officers. I didn't know what to make of such a large, intimidating crowd. Were they here to help? We were told that the U.S. Attorney Office was going to launch an investigation into what happened the night that Trayvon was killed. We were assured that the federal government was closely watching the case and would provide whatever resources they had available. They didn't think there was much that could be done from the civil rights standpoint, but if something was found during their investigation, they would do all they could to pursue it. We could feel the weight of the federal government examining the death of our son, and we left the meeting feeling hopeful. But Crump and Parks said we couldn't afford to relax. We had to keep applying the pressure. At some point during this period, I was walking with Sabrina and our attorney to Logan's Roadhouse, a casual restaurant in Sanford, when we all started receiving calls, texts, and emails. Chief Billy stepped down. He'd only been on the job for 10 months, but said he was now temporarily stepping down after 3-2 no confidence vote. After a 3-2 no confidence vote by the Sanford City Commission. After that day, we watched the Chiefs press conference on television. He was standing behind a lectern, surrounded by the media. He wore his uniform with a big badge on his chest and 4 golden stars on his collar, surrounded by microphones, cameras, and reporters in front of the Stanford Police Department, preparing to do what would have been unthinkable less than a month ago when we are strangers to Sanford. Leave the police department because of the shooting of my son. My role as the leader of this agency has become a distraction from the investigation. The chief told the media that day, while I stand by the Sanford Police Department, it's personal. In the investigation that was conducted in regards to the Trayvon Martin case, it is apparent that my involvement in this matter is overshadowing that process. Therefore, I have come to the decision that I must temporarily remove myself from the position as police chief for the city of Sanford. I'll do this in hopes of restoring some semblance of calm to the city, which has been in turmoil for several weeks. Later that night, the television was filled with commentary on the chief's resignation. Once again, we weren't sure what to make of the news, but we knew it was the first crack in the Sanford Police Department's wall. The first time they acknowledged that there might be a problem with this investigation. Crump, as always, rallied us all to use the event to raise the snakes and bring the media heat to a boil. His strategy was always to be relentless, to spot weakness and exploit it, to find your talking point, to drill it over and over and over again. Sabrina and I both went to the local news shows the next day. I said that we needed a permanent solution, not a temporary removal. We needed we need the immediate arrest of the killer of our son and a full investigation to the Stanford Police Department. I just felt like the Stanford Police Department decided on the scene to be judge and jury, Sabrina would say on the Today Show when she and I were interviewed side by side with Crump. Earlier, she said that I just want this guy arrested so he can be brought to justice. As I said before, as I had said before, we aren't looking for revenge. We're looking for justice, the same justice anyone would expect if their son were shot and killed for no reason. Around the same time, the state attorney, Norman Wolfinger, announced that he was going to convene a grand jury, which sounded to me like a good thing. Trump told us otherwise. If you take it to the grand jury, that's where the case goes to die. He said, if the case goes to the grand jury, there's a 99% chance that they're not going to indict. He took a breath. Lawyers like to say the prosecutor can get an indictment on the ham sandwich if they want to. He said, because 99% of the time the grand jury is going to do what the state attorney or the district attorney wants them to do. And if the prosecutor didn't want an indictment, the case would go away. So our strategy became a key of our case out of the grand jury and in the public eye. We had to make the pressure to arrest so high in the public that during anything but making an arrest would seem like an injustice. So on the evening of March 20th, we flew to New York for our largest media blitz yet. One television show after another, Sabrina Crump and I crisscrossed the city in a black SUV. It was mid-March, but still bitter cold, and Sabrina was starting to get run down um, physically. She was still a mother in mourning for her child, of course, which would knock anyone out. But she was also now constantly on the move in high pressure public situations that were completely new to her. And now she had the flu. She must have gone through 3 boxes of clinics that day. Her body ached, her head hurt, nose ran, and her heart was broken. But we remained grounded in our faith. Damn, this is a lot. We kept telling our story with a singular refrain. Why hasn't the man who shot our son been arrested? Our last stop on Wednesday, March 21st, was with the Reverend Al Sharpton Show, Politics Nation, in his studio in MSNBC. Before the show, we met the Rev, as we would soon call him, in his New York office, a small room with a desk and 2 chairs, the walls lined with plaques and pictures of him with famous faces and families. We turned to Crump and said, I'd like to speak with Sabrina. He turned to Crump and said, I'd like to speak with Sabrina and Trey alone for a moment. After Crump left, he we sat down with Reverend Sharpton, who looked regal in his elegant suit and tie, gray hair, and mustache. He was smaller than I expected, but as he spoke, he seemed to grow too much to match the power of his words. I had children and I sympathize with your loss, he said. Whatever you want me to do, I'm going to do. I'll help you in any way I can and support you. I'm not going to be here now, and then I'm gone tomorrow. I'm going to be a lifetime supporter. I'm a long time supporter. Reverend Sharpton was as good as his word. He is still fighting with us every day. We led He led us to the MSNBC television studio. Sabrina Crump and I sat across the Reverend's chair. The cameras rolled, and Reverend Sharpton stood and started to speak in his big, booming voice, pointing his finger at the camera, demanding justice for the killing of our son. We were all run down by then, but the interview energized us. Reverend Sharpton asked Sabrina if she was determined to hang in there no matter what until this is over. Until the day I die, she said, I'm a mother and I want justice for my son, and I won't stop until I receive that. It was getting dark and cold when we left the television studio. Reverend Al walked us outside, but before we climbed back into the SUV, he told us that our day wasn't done. A rally had been planned in Trayvon's honor, the Reverend said. It would be great if you guys could drive straight over to Union Square so they can see the parents of Trayvon Martin and you can thank them for their support, he said. There's going to be a lot of people there. They're going to the Million Hoodie March. He added, prepare yourself to be amazed. Once again, strangers descended on our cars like angels. This time it was Daniel Murray, Mary, a clean-cut young black writer, speaker, filmmaker, and actress. After graduating magna cum laude from American University in 2008, he worked as a digital strategist at Interpublic Group, in advertising and communications agency in New York. Mary, excuse me, Mary had grown up in Johannesburg, South Africa, but had lived in Gainesville, Florida for 3 years when he was Trayvon's age. He had experiences of being stopped by police as he walked through gated communities for no reason other than being a young African American, he said. He saw a story and thought that could have been me. Outraged, Murray found what he called Million Hoodies Movement for Justice and began posting on Twitter with the hashtag Million Hoodies and made a YouTube video asking people to post pictures of themselves in hoodies and sign a petition on change.org where numbers were still growing at the record rate. Along with the Twitter post and YouTube video, Murray asked supporters to march in Union Square on Wednesday, March 21st. In 2 days' time, Murray, his friends, and his AHC colleagues had not only organized the rally but had also created a poster which looked like a poster of a professional boxing match with a picture of Trayvon in his hoodie and the words 100,000. What? I guess that's 1 million. I'm sorry. 1 million hoodie march for Trayvon Martin, March 21st, NYC, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., Union Square. We had been up since before dawn. We had been in, it had been a long and exhausting day, and we were beat, but all of our energy had been spent on the television shows, but we pulled it together and rode over to Union Square in an SUV. We had always been big believers of the NAACP, the Urban League, and other organizations, and proud to be of the deeper history of the civil rights movement. But we were private people, far from activists, busy raising the family and keeping food on the table. We didn't know what it meant to be on the front lines of a protest. We didn't even know what a protest looked like before, to be honest, and only a red idea of what they were for or how they accomplish anything. Now the logic of protest became clear. It's about numbers. What we saw as we got closer to Union Square took our breath away. The sea of hoodies stretched across the historic public park. Too many hoodies to count. As far as I knew, there could have really been 1 million hoodies in Union Square that night, representing 1 million Trayvons, 1 million young kids at risk of falling dead to gunfire, 1 million lives already lost and unmourned by the world, but still calling out for justice. The crowd was black and white and everything else, men and women, young and old. There were too many signs, banners, and flags to count. I tried to pick out individuals in the crowd. I saw one young kid, no more than 12, wearing a red hoodie and holding a sign in my neck. I looked over at Sabrina, who I imagine was exhausted and wrung out from the day, from the words. I tried to find the words that would help, and I knew that if anything motivated Sabrina, it was a chance to direct her energy toward helping someone else. We had to stay strong for all of the people who are supporting us, I said. We got out of the car and were engulfed in that sea of people, all of them trying to get close to us. The New York City police were literally pushing on back until suddenly a path cleared. We held into each other and pushed our way through the thick, cheering crowd. Sabrina was still sick, but I could feel her strength growing along with mine. There we were, thousands of miles from home, and so many people beside us. Our spirits were energized. We were led up to a makeshift stage, a small opening in the crowd, with people still pressing all around us. Dean Murray was also on stage, looking studious in his black frame eyeglasses, but also wearing a dark hoodie. The hoodies began to cheer and shout. We are one, they said. Crum handed me a microphone, and I tried to find more words. I just pulled them from my heart. Trayvon Martin did matter. I said, I just want New York to know that we're not going to stop until we get justice for Trayvon. The hoodie chip. Trayvon was your typical teenager. Trayvon did typical teenage things. I continue. Trayvon was, I repeat, Trayvon was not a bad person. George Zimmerman took Trayvon's life for nothing. George Zimmerman took Trayvon's life, profiling him. Our son did not deserve to die. There's nothing that we can say that will bring him back. But I'm here today to ensure that justice is served and that no other parent has to go through this again. We want justice. I could hear chants surging out from the crowd. We want justice. I hand the mic back to Crum. Now we will hear from Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon Martin, Trayvon's mother, said Crum. Sabrina had spoken in public before, but nothing like this. I could feel the emotion rising in her, but had no idea what she'd say. My heart is in pain, Sabrina began, her voice shaking, but to see the support of all of you really makes a difference. We love you, screamed someone in the audience. She seemed to gain strength from the support of the enthusiastic crowd. You probably don't understand how much you guys mean to us, she continued, but it's the support that we need. We need this kind of support. Our son was not committing a crime, more cheering. Then the words arrived, the right words, and I was staggered like everyone else by what Sabrina said. Our son is your son, she said, and I could see her tremble and shake, but her voice gained power. We're going to stand up for justice and stand up for what's right, she said. This is not a black and white thing. This is about the right and wrong thing. The hoodies erupted. I am Trayvon Martin. People chanted, I am Trayvon Martin. Justice for Trayvon. Justice for Trayvon. The rally closed with a prayer. Pray that this happens to no other child. Dan Murray told the crowd before they left Union Square, thousands strong, and marched through the streets of New York, waving flags and carrying posters that read "Justice for Trayvon" and "A million hoodies for Trayvon." On the day that I found out my son died, I was alone in Stanford, feeling the pain I never before imagined, and the helplessness I'd never known. The pain lingered, but the helplessness was gone because now it wasn't just Sabrina and me fighting for answers and justice. Now it was a nation. All right, so that's all I'm going to read for y'all today. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified, and I'll get back to y'all in the next video. Share my videos with your friends and family, and if you want to donate, the Cash App is Kashmere Majesty 26. Once again, if you want to donate, the Cash App is Kashmere Majesty 26. I'm looking for real supporters. You do not have to if you don't want to. But if you do want to and you want to be a loyal supporter and subscriber, it is KASHMEREMAJESTY 26. I'll do wig reviews, mukbangs, doll reviews, mannequin head reviews. Whatever interests you, just let me know. Let me know that you are willing to support. And once I see a notification pop up on Cash App, I will definitely shout you out in the next videos and show you just as much love as you have shown me. And make sure that I get videos out there doing exactly whatever it is that you want to see in my content.